Welcome back to The Explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner trying to get the absolute most out of artificial intelligence, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going on a highly actionable journey to unlock Claude's ultimate capabilities. And I mean ultimate. We aren't just talking about basic prompts today. We are looking at a complete, step-by-step roadmap to transform this tool from a simple search bar into a fully autonomous system that literally works for you while you sleep.
400. That's a lot of hours, right? Well, that is the exact number of hours the creator of this roadmap, AI automation expert Nate Herc, spent deep inside Claude. He was testing, breaking, and mastering the platform to build the framework we're going to look at today. That's 400 hours of trial and error completely distilled into this single, highly efficient explainer.
So think of this like a video game. We're going to conquer 5 distinct levels today. Level 1 is the enthusiast, then the beginner, the intermediate, the advanced, and finally, our final boss stage, the architect.
Okay, let's dive right into this map. Notice how the AI's persona actually evolves as we level up your technical skills. Down at level 1, Claude is basically an intern, but push through to level 3 and it's a coworker. By level 4, it's an entire engineering team, and at level 5, it's your always-on infrastructure. We are systematically upgrading your AI's resume step by step.
First up is level 1, the enthusiast, also known as the intern.
Right now, you're probably treating Claude like a simple search bar that just happens to write paragraphs. And hey, it's helpful, right? It saves you maybe 30 minutes a day on emails. But it's essentially a brilliant, incredibly forgetful intern. So how do we escape this ground floor? Well, here's your first cheat code. Create your first project using a really simple 3-step process. First, pick a recurring task. Second, drop in a few reference documents. And third, write a quick system prompt explaining exactly who you are and what you want. By doing this, you're giving Claude continuous memory. Every new chat in that project starts preloaded with context. And just like that, you've unlocked the next stage.
Moving right along to level 2, the beginner, the smart intern.
Boom, your intern has been upgraded. Thanks to projects, Claude now has continuity. But it gets so much better. At this level, Claude can connect over 50 integrations, stuff like Google Drive, Slack, and Notion, to pull the exact context it needs. It can even generate real, downloadable Microsoft Office files. What's really interesting about this stage, though, is the upgraded version of artifacts. Most people think artifacts are just these quick little code previews. No way. At a level 2, they get persistent storage. They recall data between your sessions, and they can even call Claude's API directly. This means a non-coder can literally sit down, have a conversation, and build a working, publishable customer feedback tracker without writing a single line of code. It's a massive leap in productivity.
But, eventually you're going to hit a ceiling. And understanding this bottleneck is absolutely crucial. On the left side here, we have Claude Chat, your standard conversation surface. The problem? You still have to copy-paste outputs, run code yourself, and manually execute all the changes. To break through this ceiling, you have to move to the right side of the equation, Claude Cowork. This requires shifting to the desktop app where Claude actually gets isolated virtual machine access to execute tasks autonomously.
Let's shift gears into level 3, the intermediate. Claude is now your coworker.
At this point, Claude has officially evolved from an assistant into a legit virtual coworker. You can point it at your messy downloads folder and just say, hey, organize this by file type and summarize the invoices while you go grab a coffee. A huge part of this level revolves around using what are called skills. These are reusable markdown workflow files. You define a really complex weekly task just once, like, say, client reporting, and forever after, you just type a simple command and Claude runs the whole shebang. And the best part? You don't even have to build these from scratch. There's a massive marketplace with over 100 published skills for marketing, design, and accounting that you can download with a single click.
The capability jumps at level 3 are frankly wild. Beyond complete file system access, you can schedule recurring tasks as long as your PC is awake, of course. You can even control your desktop Claude right from your phone while you're commuting using Dispatch. But the absolute craziest feature here is Claude Design. People are literally calling this the Figma killer. It ingests your brand guidelines, your fonts, your colors, and then outputs complete, beautiful front-end architectures that you can ship straight to production. But hold on. How do we keep this powerful virtual coworker from making a complete mess of your hard drive? Here is your cheat code to level 4. You absolutely need to create a strict folder structure. Create an About Me file for instructions, a templates folder that it can never overwrite, and a strict outputs destination. By setting up these guardrails, your unpredictable assistant suddenly becomes a reliable, systematic coworker. Which brings us to level 4, the advanced. You've now got an engineering team. You are no longer just chatting or running single automations. Now, you're operating inside the command line, running multiple parallel terminal sessions. Each one acts as a specialized worker, coding, fixing bugs, and writing documentation all at the same time. To truly master this level, we should take advice directly from the man who built this system. Boris Cherny, the creator of Claude Code at Anthropic, says, "Give Claude a way to check its own work." By pairing Claude with a self-testing browser loop, where it writes code, opens a browser, tests the user interface, and iterates on any errors before it even shows you the result, you can instantly 2x to 3x your output quality.
Let's rapid fire through the advanced mechanics making this possible. You use a Claude.md file to give universal rules to your project. You use Opus Plan mode. This is great, where the expensive Opus model thinks of the plan and the cheaper Sonnet model actually executes it, which cuts your costs in half. You run specialized subagents in parallel, keeping them perfectly isolated using Git work trees. And super importantly, you always prioritize command line interface tools over model context protocol plugins to save massive amounts of token overhead.
But here's the reality check. If you get to this point, you will likely hit burnout. The ultimate bottleneck becomes babysitting all this parallel work. Imagine having 5 terminal windows open. You're firing off AI agents, reviewing their work, switching contexts, and just constantly clicking approve. You aren't doing the work anymore, sure, but you've become the bottleneck of your own AI systems. You just can't scale because the whole system requires your physical presence.
So we need one final cheat code to unlock the ultimate stage. Step 1. Find the absolute most repetitive manual execution you're doing to babysit the AI. Maybe it's dependency checks or PR reviews. Step 2. Build a cloud routine to replace that manual click. Step 3. Step away from the keyboard. You turn that babysitting task into a self-running automation.
All right, here it is, the final boss stage. Level 5, the architect. Always-on infrastructure.
This is truly awe-inspiring. You literally close your laptop, you go out to dinner, and the work just keeps happening. Someone opens a pull request on your project, Claude sees it, spins up in the cloud, reviews the code, leaves feedback, and merges it, all while your computer is completely turned off. To make this always-on infrastructure a reality, the tools are incredible. You've got cloud routines triggered by APIs or GitHub. You have safety hooks that automatically block dangerous commands so things don't break while you sleep. You've got AutoDream, where a background agent actually prunes and consolidates Claude's memory so it doesn't get confused over time. And crucially, really crucially, you have task budgets. That's a hard cap on token spending that prevents these autonomous agents from running wild with your credit card.
Which naturally leads us to the ultimate question. But can you trust it? The barrier to level 5 isn't really technical, it's psychological. Handing the steering wheel over to an AI while you sleep feels terrifying, but the solution is pretty simple. Think about it. You don't learn to drive on the highway. You start in an empty parking lot. So test low-stakes routines first, like a daily summary sent only to you. Watch it run for a week. Build that trust. Once you overcome that fear, you aren't just using AI anymore, you're architecting it. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll leave you with a challenge. What is the very first routine you are going to automate in your empty parking lot?